Hello YouTube, Nick here for MigrateIPhone.com. I'm going to get straight into it, and this is going to be our coverage video of the Apple event that's just happened today, which is March the 2nd, and this was basically their event where they announced anything new, and obviously what we were expecting was the new iPad, and that is exactly what they brought to you. So let's get straight into what they actually went about. So first off, a lot of rumours were going around that Steve Jobs wouldn't be there because, of course, most of you know that he was and he has been ill, but he was there. He made his appearance on stage, so he was there, and he obviously that is a big plus. So they first off, like they always do, they talked about the facts, they talked about iBooks, they talked about App Store and the sales of the iPad and iPhone 4, and just like always, that's exactly what they've done. They announced some numbers and everything like that. They always do that, so that's what we were expecting from the beginning. Then they went on to talk about other stuff, and then they showed a video showing that 2010 was the year for the iPad, and this obviously brought them on to announcing the release of the iPad 2. That is the name of it, the iPad 2, and this will be released on March the 11th in the US, and I know for here in the UK it will be March the 25th. So that will come with iOS 4.3 built in, or not built in, that will come with iOS 4.3 on the device as stock. So obviously iOS 4.3 will be released on March 11th as well. I'll get into iOS 4.3 in just a sec. So the iPad 2, they said, had all new design, and it comes with a new A5 chip. That is their new chip that they have made, which is basically, it has a dual core processor as well, and this is up to 2 times faster CPU. It has a front VGA camera, and also a back camera which shoots 720p HD video, and this is 30 frames per second. You see me looking down, it's because I have notes, but yeah. They've built in the gyroscope to the iPad 2, and it still has the 9.7 inch screen, but it is 8.8 millimeters thinner, so that's 33% thinner. It also weighs 0.2 pounds lighter than the previous iPad, and it does have the same battery life, so that is amazing how they've managed to shrink it down, but it still has the same battery life and these new features as well. So that's 10 hours of battery life, and also I think it can run for a month on standby, so that's pretty cool. It will come in a 16GB, a 32GB and a 64GB model, and you can choose from the Wi-Fi only or Wi-Fi and 3G. So that's pretty much that. On the iPad 2, the prices and everything will be down below for you to go check, and also the iPad 2 is up on the website, but I don't think you can pre-order today. I think you will have to wait. So then they went on to talk about accessories. Of course, iPad 2 is the main thing, and it's really great. There's lots more to it, but I just want to keep this video short and simple to keep you guys interested. But they went on to talk about accessories, and the first thing they mentioned was a dock connector, and this was for HDMI mirrored video output. So basically you can have a video on your iPad playing, and then you can use this dock connector to connect up to your HD TV and run that same video or picture or app or something like that. So that was that. They also announced their smart cover. So you know, when they released the iPad, the first iPad, they brought out a case for it. Instead of designing a case which took away from the beauty of the actual iPad itself, they designed a cover which basically just covers the front display. Now, moving away from the smart cover just a sec, the iPad 2 will not include a Retina display, which some people rumoured that it will have. It doesn't look like it will have one, but the display is still good. It's good enough, to be honest, guys. I don't really notice the difference, but it's up to you guys whether you make that decision or not to buy the iPad 2 or not, just from that point. But the smart covers, these are really cool little things. Again, bit overpriced like the case was for the original iPad, but that's Apple for you. But basically these are just little covers that go over the screen. But what's really cool is the iPad has built-in magnets on the side, and the case also has magnets, and basically those magnets are used to stick the case on to the iPad, and then it covers the screen. What's also really nice is when you fold up the smart cover, it automatically knows that that you're pulling it up and you want to use the iPad, so it unlocks your iPad, and obviously when you drop it back down to cover the screen, it locks the iPad again. So that's a really nice feature, and you can use it for a stand as well, in landscape or portrait. So that's that. So now let's talk about iOS 4.3, which they also went over. So this will include increased Safari performance, and it runs JavaScript 2 times faster than it did before, like in iOS 4.2. It also will include iTunes home sharing, and this will basically allow you to wirelessly stream over home Wi-Fi to your device. So that's a really cool feature. That's something that you'd probably find yourself using a lot. I definitely probably find myself using that a lot as well. You can also, like we showed in the preview of iOS 4.3, there will be an option in settings to change your rotation lock on the side to either rotation lock or to a mute switch. Obviously that's a small feature, that's up to you which one you want. And like we saw with the Verizon iPhone, there will be a personal hotspot feature, and this will only work on the iPhone 4. So if you have an iPhone 3GS, it won't work. But if you have an iPhone 4, you can use your 3G connection to create a personal hotspot over Wi-Fi. So that's pretty cool. And that's pretty much everything to iOS 4.3. Again, that will be released at the same time as the iPad 2, so on March the 11th, which is really good. So that's not long at all, guys. So obviously, if a jailbreak comes out for that, we'll obviously make a video, and obviously if an unlock comes out as well, we will do that as well. Then they went on to talk about some more apps that they've created for the iPad itself, and the first one was Photo Booth. So this obviously is a great little app you can get on your Mac and now on the iPad, so you can basically edit your pictures and everything like that. So if you have put pictures on through iTunes, you can edit them, or if you took pictures on your iPad yourself, you can edit them. There's some really cool little editing features on there, different ways of screwing and do whatever you want to the pictures you have on your iPad. So that's really cool, and that should be built in iOS for the iPad. So that's really nice that you don't even have to buy it, it's already there on your iPad. Another one of those applications that's already there is FaceTime. Of course, you can expect that with the front and back camera. So FaceTime, of course, you know what FaceTime is now. This will allow you to make face or video calls between devices. So iPad 2 to iPad 2, iPad to iPhone, iPad to iPod Touch, iPad to Mac. And of course, with the Macs, the new MacBook Pros, and for all new Macs now, I believe they will have the HD FaceTime cameras as well. So that would be really cool. Of course, the iPad, if you have a 3G version, you of course can get that on your data. If you have Wi-Fi, then you just make an email and use it from there. So that would be really cool. Another way of FaceTiming and obviously getting to more devices now. So that's really nice that Apple have included that. And also, iOS 4.3, just going back to that, it will not be available to the Verizon iPhone. So if you've just purchased a Verizon iPhone, you will notice that it's on a slightly different firmware to the other iPhones, AT&T, and of course I'm here in the UK on O2 or Vodafone or anything like that. It is a different firmware. It's like 4.2.6 or something like that. Now iOS 4.3 will not be available to Verizon iPhones. Something strange there, I don't know why. It seems strange that that's the case, but there you go. Of course, the Verizon iPhone does have some of them features anyway, like the personal hotspot and other things like that, but it does seem strange that they've missed the Verizon iPhone out. But there you go, that's Apple for you. Now, another application which they announced was iMovie for the iPad. We saw it released for the iPhone when the iPhone 4 was released, and now it is available to the iPad. So you can use the full capabilities of the iPad screen, of course, to edit your video clips and what have you. So on the iPhone it was quite tricky. A lot of it was just too small and you couldn't really do much on there, but on the iPad I think this is going to be great. I think it's going to be a great success for the iPad to have iMovie on there. I can see a lot of people using it to edit a lot more movies, so that's definitely a great choice for Apple to make iMovie for the iPad. So this will not be built in an iOS 4.3 for the iPad. This will be on the App Store and it will be available for $5 in the US. Of course, if you're not in the US, you can convert that currency to whatever currency you have in your country. So that's that. It will include a precision editor, multi-track audio recording, so you can record voiceovers and everything like that. It will include new theme schemes, so you can mess around with that and make it look cool and like add trailers and things, and also AirPlay, and you can also record straight into iMovie into the timeline from the front or back camera, so that's really nice. So of course you can import clips from iTunes, or you can record straight away from your iPad, so that's really nice, and it will go straight into your timeline. Now that's pretty much everything for iMovie. Again, I'll leave links in the description so you can read up about it yourself in more detail. But the other application which they went on a long time about was Garageband. Now Garageband is another app, will not be available stock iOS 4.3 for the iPad, but you can get it from the App Store. And this is going to bring pretty much every feature from Garageband on the Mac to your iPad. It looks really good, guys. There's tons of great stuff. Like you can have the ability to plug in your instruments to the iPad and play like that, or you can use the built-in ones on the Garageband itself. And what's really nice is that it has the ability to detect how hard you're hitting your finger on the iPad screen. So if I was playing the drums and I was tapping softly, the sound would be quiet, and if I was to hit it really hard, the sound would obviously get louder. So that's a really great feature, and something GarageBand is something that I'll be looking forward to if I was to get my hands on the iPad 2. So there's lots of features to go over on the iPad 2, and for GarageBand anyway, and there's just too many that I can cover in this video. But again, links in the description. You can read up on GarageBand 2 and see everything that's available to you, but there's lots of stuff to get through on GarageBand, and it'll just take me forever. So do that, and I'm sure you'll find something that will interest you from GarageBand. And that is pretty much everything from the event, guys. There wasn't a one more thing, as there normally is with the Apple events, where they obviously trick us into thinking that's it, and then they say, oh no, there's one more thing, but there wasn't this time. Don't know why, but they did announce some big stuff here, guys. So that's pretty much everything I have to say on the event. Again, links in the description. There'll be an article on our website coming up very soon, so you can get all the information there as well, and I'll leave that link in the description below. Make sure to go check that out, guys, because we do a lot of hard work blogging, trying to keep up to date as best we can, and obviously we do our best, and we are very quick on it, I believe. So make sure to keep following our site for all the latest news, and that's pretty much it. So it is Nick here from Garageband.com. A quick overview of the Apple event here from Apple on March the 2nd. They announced the iPad 2. They talked about iOS 4.3. They talked about the accessories, their case that they've all this cover, and also some new applications that are coming to the iPad as well. So a pretty iPad based event. That is pretty much what it was. It was an iPad based event. Looks really good. The iPad 2 does come in black and in white, guys, as well. I did forget to mention that, I think. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but yes, it does come in black and white, like the iPhone 4 was said to be coming out in black and white. They did say that the iPad 2 will come in black and white from the first day, so no wait for the white iPad. If you want the white iPad, you can get it the same day as the black iPad, so that's really cool. And now I will finish off this video. That is it. Nick here from Garageband.com. See all the links down below, and I have nothing else to say. Really good event. Big props to Apple, and I'll catch you all, guys, in the next video.